how do you think we should address the impotence of international organizations in the region?
So first of all, we need to agree that these organizations are impotent. They are bureaucratically impotent, they are politically impotent and divided, and they are incapable of performing the roles that they should be performing according to their mandates. Now the question is, can they be reformed, or should they be replaced, or there should be something else instead that is more collective than these organizations, the Arab League in particular, the GCC. Because the fact is that these are limited clubs in many ways. The Arab League is a club for Arab states, does not include Iran or Israel or Turkey, which are major actors in the Middle East. The GCC is a club for the Gulf states, could be useful, still dysfunctional, very dysfunctional, but it doesn't include others. You have the Organization of Islamic Conference, which has all the Muslim nations as part of it, but doesn't include some major actors involved in the region as well. So I think what we need to do is, rather than trying to reform unreformable institutions that really have outlived their shelf life, is to find a new collective way of bringing together states in an effort to reduce tensions in the region. And that can be a new, not an institution, but a process that may be led by some of the smaller states in the region, and that is inclusive. It doesn't maybe start small, but then build out and include all of the states in the region and maybe some outside powers as well.
Thank you. And then more specifically, what do you think the place is of minor Gulf states in any future process?
Well, we have a historical example of the Helsinki process, which was maybe the idea came from the Soviet Union, but it was initiated by two small European states, Finland and Switzerland, and they led it. And all the meetings and conferences were held in Geneva and Helsinki, and led to a successful signing of the Helsinki Accord. Likewise, even though I'm not prescribing as an entirely identical process, it doesn't exist. But we could look at smaller Gulf states, for example, or smaller Middle East states, to lead a process that would produce a collective effort at reducing tensions by working on issues of common concern, be they political or non-political, security, non-security. You could easily see states like Kuwait and Oman, for example, which would be the victims of any major war in the region, acting to, and would not be initiating one, acting to reduce the tensions between their bigger neighbors and act as intermediaries and act as facilitators. But I think the regional states will also need some outside help not an intervention, obviously, because that can be destructive, but enabling environment provided by European powers, for example. Maybe also the smaller powers in Europe.
And what do you think the role is today of popular political movements, like those we've seen in Algeria or Sudan?
Well, what the examples of Sudan and Algeria show is that the wave that began with the Arab uprisings in 2011 hasn't ended. And it hasn't ended for a very simple reason. It's that the challenges that existed at the time, and basically the breakdown of whatever social contract existed in each country in the region at the time, those challenges haven't been addressed and solved. And so what we're seeing in Sudan and Algeria is in a way a delayed effect of the same phenomenon. Mm-hmm. But we will also probably see the same phenomenon recur in the places where it already happened before in the Arab world. So popular mobilization is very much a reflection of the deep frustration that people have about the inability of the regimes in power to solve the economic and social problems that these countries face, which the UNDP has long ago explained.